Okay, YouTube, so today I'm with Keith here and we're going to tune the radio antenna to get the maximum range out of the system. So on the X3 here, I had to put a new antenna on. I lost my whip. Well, also in losing the whip, I put a spring end on the end. But talking to Keith already, he's pointed out that I really need to move this antenna and get it away from all of this steel stuff right here. So his idea is I just make a little bracket right here and I literally mount the antenna right here, get it away from this stuff right here. So that's one improvement that I can do to get my system going. Now I can tell you guys right now, another thing that's wrong with my system is my antenna is it has that angle in it. It's not horrible, but the straighter up and down your antenna is, the better your feed, because your signal spreads out like this. So right now my signal is basically going like that. So it's better if your antenna is straight up and down. And now we're gonna check the SWR on the cable.
Standing wave ratio.
On the antenna. So as you can see here, he's gonna put a gauge. Okay, so this is what we're gonna have to hook up to the radio here. And you can see one side here goes into the radio, and then the antenna will hook to this side right here. And then Keith will get his readings here, and then we may need to trim the antenna because all the frequencies, it depends what frequencies you're operating on, but most of the off-road frequencies that we operate on, well, it's basically a 19-inch antenna, but we'll see, because the coils and everything, it all makes a difference. So we'll see what we have here, and we'll see how efficient my radio is. So here we go. Oh, no. Okay, go ahead, Keith. All right, so Keith's got the antenna right there. You can see him pulling the wire off the back of the radio. You never want to key up, or you never even want to turn your radio on without your antenna being hooked up. That I've learned.
So this, just so you know, this is called SWR meter, Paul.
Okay.
And and that stands for standing wave ratio. So what it does is an untuned antenna reflects power back to the radio. Okay.
Okay.
Poorly mismatched antennas will reflect more power.
Okay, so you can see Keith here hooking up the radio. He's just hooking the cable up to the back of the radio. And now he needs to hook the antenna to the back of the SRW? Is that what it's called?
SWR.
SWR.
So,
okay, so we're going to key the mic up here, and we're going to look at the meter here. I can't see what it's doing there, but...
So you are currently putting out 54 watts, and your SWR is at 1.5, which is more than acceptable.
Okay, so you can see right here when we keyed up, we had all of our readings, and he says we're in good shape. We're pushing 54 watts at
1.4 SWR.
1.4 SWR. So if we didn't, we could change the length of the antenna to get a better reading, but he's going to recommend that all I do is relocate the antenna to get the maximum out of the system. And with this system, I should realistically be able to talk, what would you guess? I could talk probably, line of sight, probably about 100 miles. With a repeater, it's unlimited. You could talk anywhere in the world with it on repeaters. But line of sight, 100 miles. If I have to go through dents and stuff like that, it's probably 20, 25 miles, something like that. So anyway, just a quick little tip here, checking our radio, making sure our system's cleaned up, ready to go for the season. I am going to change the mounting on my antenna there, get it away from the steel there. He says it'll be better for the antenna, and get my antenna straight up. That's the best thing I can do to help the system. Okay, YouTube, so after checking the radio with the SWR meter, we know my antenna is good. I'm putting out 54 watts and I'm pulling back in 51 watts. That's basically what I'm doing with the system right now, which is not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. A 1-to-1 is a perfect ratio. So when you have a radio completely just dialed in, which moving that antenna over there, I'll get another, a half a watt, a quarter of a watt. And also it'll make my range, it'll increase my range because I'm perpendicular with the horizon. So that's the way I want to be. I want the antenna to be just like that. And so the radio waves go out, and do what they're supposed to do. So anyway, and what we did here on this too, you can see right here, you just line these two needles up right here. One comes up and then this one comes up, and you really want this needle right here. You don't want it to move at all. You want it to just stay right down there on a perfectly tuned radio. But we'll call it good enough. My little bullfang is putting out 6 watts. It's actually tuned better than the big radio, but it's only an 8-watt radio and it's putting out 6 watts. This is a 60-watt radio and it's putting out 54 watts. Gear from one dealer, you should be okay. They know what they're doing. They've got the correct lengths on the antenna. This right here, when we went to check it, we could, I could have adjusted the antenna. I would have started cutting an 1/8 inch off of it until we got to the right readings, or it may have to be lengthened. But in my case, I really didn't have to do anything to the antenna. Everything looks good on it, so we'll go with it. Anyway, again, okay YouTube, so one thing I've learned so far, and as you know, I'm going through the school, we're getting ready to go to Alaska. Also getting ready to go to Glamis in a couple weeks, and I'm just getting the car ready, getting all my systems ready and stuff like that. But I'm also getting my ham radio license, and the reason is because there's a technicality of whether it's legal to operate these radios on or off without having that license, and the answer is no, they're not. I mean, you'll get guys that argue with you and say yes, they are, and there is a designated frequencies, and as long as you stay within those frequencies, nobody's probably going to bother you, and you're probably all right. But technically you should have a license. So I'm going for my technical rating first, and after that, I don't know if I'll go any further than that, but I'll have my call sign, and after that I can start using the repeaters. So it's very important that I have my system tuned correctly and my system is operating out of its maximum efficiency. So this radio, like you said here, as he was testing it, it's putting out 54 watts. A perfectly tuned radio is a 1-to-1 ratio. So I've learned that already in the schooling that I'm going through in the class that I'm taking. And my radio is pretty close, you know. I'm putting out 54 watts. I'm receiving in about 51 and a half watts. So it's pretty damn close. It's close enough. I mean, it's within tolerances to not have to adjust the antenna. But if we did need to adjust the antenna, we just start adjusting the length. And then what we can do here is we go to our lowest frequency and our highest frequency on the radios, and then we can determine whether we have to lengthen the antenna or shorten the antenna. But on this particular case, we didn't have to do anything on it because I bought the correct antenna, and I bought the whip. I lost the whip in St. Anthony's, and I bought another whip from Rudded-Radio from my local dealer, and so it was already at the correct length, which these guys, they know their business, they know what they're doing. So if you buy the equipment for the cars, because each frequencies, when you're going through your frequencies right here, which we're in like the 151 range, they all require a different length of antenna. It matters for each frequency, for each blob of frequencies, let's say, it'll matter, the length of your antenna matters. So I didn't know any of that, but now I do know that. Going through the schooling and stuff like that, I've learned some of that, a little bit of it, and I'll learn more and more as I go on through the training here to get my my license, my technical license. So anyway, I recommend everybody do it. I recommend everybody get their license just so they know and they're better with the radio, and if you get the true power out of the radio and to be able to use the repeaters, oh my God, I mean, the range is unlimited. I can go park my coach anywhere I want and do anything I want and be able to talk to Bev with a little 8-watt radio, and she could be sitting there if we can use the repeater towers, and that you do have to have your license for. And why not? It's just a little more training for you, a little more expertise that you'll have, and another license. Hey, it won't hurt you. Anyway, Paul Bates, peace out, appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Anyway, hope to see you guys on the trail soon. Paul Bates.